Disclaimer, this video is not to scare anyone. I've had 1,000 blood draws that have went completely smooth, perfectly fine. The people in the ER are the absolute best at it, probably because they do it so often and they have to do it really fast. But yeah, most nurses are very, very good at drawing blood, so if anyone is scared about that, do not worry. And if you are scared, tell the people at your hospital and they will find someone who is nice and very good at blood draws. You can even ask them like, hey, can you give me your best phlebotomist, because I'm terrified. Another disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. This is not medical advice at all. This is just fun horror stories. Okay. Why would a doctor or a nurse not want their patient to be smart? Well, when a patient has knowledge, they have power. When something is happening around them that is wrong, they can say, hey, you're not supposed to do that. Hey, I thought nurses do this, not this. They don't want someone who's going to see when they're taking the easy way out. For example, my nurse draws my blood every week, and one time she was drawing my blood and she couldn't get the vein. She redirected the needle a few times and it wasn't working, so I just said, okay, can we try a different vein? So she sets the needle down on the table, and then once she finds the new vein, she tries to reinsert the old needle. And I start freaking out, and I'm like, no. I like back away from her, and she was like, what? I was like, that needle isn't sterile anymore. And she was like, oh yeah. She was like, oh, okay, well I have to go to my car to get a new one. I don't have any other needles with me. So she knew that she wasn't supposed to do that, but she didn't want to go back to her car, so she was gonna re-poke me with the same needle. I don't know, maybe it just like slipped her mind, maybe she wasn't thinking about it, but that's a big thing to slip your mind, man. So this nurse I've had many blood draws with. I'd say about 50% of the time she will get it, which is not great percentage. To be fair, it's probably not something that she's doing every day. She's just like a home health nurse. The next week she comes, she tries to draw my blood. The same thing's happening where she can't find the vein and she's just like reinserting. The limit to needle relocation when the vein is missed on initial insertion is to advance the needle farther down the vein or to withdraw it slightly backwards. The needle should never be moved side to side. Okay, whatever. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I know that it can mess up your vein if you move it in and out too many times. I'm sitting there with my nurse, she's drawing my blood and she's doing this, and she does it over and over and over, like 10 times. And eventually I say, hey, can you stop moving it around? Just leave the needle there and we'll see if some blood comes up. So she's holding this and she's still moving it over and over, and I say again, I'm like, hey, can you just take this out? We can try a different vein. I don't mind being poked again. And she continues moving around the needle while she's trying to pull the blood out from the syringe, and all of a sudden blood just explodes everywhere from my hand. And then there's like a big blob of blood where she was like poking at, like a bunch of blood came out, and there was like a spurting sound, like it went like don't know what happened. If someone knows, please let me know. I can't find anything. After the blood explosion, I decided I don't want her to draw my blood anymore. There's been a few times where I said this exact thing. I was like, okay, she's not drawing my blood anymore. And then I give her a try again, and she fucks up again. So the last time she came over, I drew my blood myself, and we actually got in a fight. So after telling her I was gonna draw my own blood out of this thing, she goes and tries to take the extension off. And I was saying, no, you need to leave that on because I'm gonna draw my blood myself. And she was like, oh, okay, we'll change it anyway. So she takes this off. And then she goes to draw my blood, even though I just told her I'm gonna be doing it myself. The extension is basically so I can hold it and like do my medicine myself and everything. And then when she took that off, she was like preventing me from doing it myself, which I thought was very weird. I finally convinced her to put the extension back on, and she wants to put it on without saline. Now you're always supposed to flush the extension before you attach it to your IV, even if you're drawing blood, and you're supposed to flush the line before you draw blood. And she was saying, oh no, we're not gonna flush it because you don't need to flush it before you draw blood, because we're just gonna draw blood from it. You're supposed to flush it and then pull out until you see blood, and you're supposed to get pretty much a whole syringe of blood. Not even that, like just a little bit. You're just supposed to pull out and make sure the blood isn't diluted from the saline anymore. So I do 1 vial of discarded blood that you're supposed to throw away. We put that on the table, and then now we're doing the normal blood that she's actually gonna test. So she says, draw 3 syringes full, 10 cc's. I was thinking like, okay, that's a lot of blood. Why does she need that much blood? I understand the first one because that's like wasted blood that's mixed with saline. You can't test that. I draw the blood. I give her the 3 syringes, and she puts the second one that I took out. She puts the second syringe into the little test bottles, and then she gives me the first syringe and she says, here, put this in your IV, put it slowly. She wanted me to put the old blood that you're supposed to discard, she wanted me to put it back into my PICC line, possibly contaminating it. Every time that you set down a syringe and it doesn't have a cap on it, it's getting contaminated. So you're not supposed to be setting down syringes and then using them after. You're supposed to be holding them the whole time and then using them. Especially reinserting one that's filled with old blood. Like, from now on, as soon as she gets here, I will have my syringes full of blood on the table ready for her to go, so she does not have to deal with freaking blood draw anymore. And neither will I. It will be done before she gets there.